Let us begin. Welcome back to the Table 43 podcast. Hope everyone had a brilliant Easter break. We had a lovely break. Craig, did you enjoy your Easter break?
I did. Just sponsored by Boss Coffee today. Unofficial sponsorship.
If Boss Coffee wants to sponsor the Table 43 podcast,
We
please,
would love
we
that.
would love it because we love their coffee.
We love coffee.
I mean, Craig had it for the first time. What do you think?
And I love it.
Brilliant.
It is the best coffee I've ever had, Boss Coffee.
Done.
Easter break was good. I spent my time earning
Put the logo.
maximum wages.
Yes.
Because hospitality now acknowledges, I'm not sure if it's in South Australia only or around the country, Saturday is a public holiday.
Yes.
So, yeah, I worked Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So I enjoyed the fruits of Peter Malinowskis' good work.
All Pete. Nice. And today, Hutto's not here, unfortunately. Hutto, we miss you. And we'll definitely try and have you back on the next podcast, please.
And that is not for medical reasons
Not
that
for
he
medical
is not
reasons.
here.
Yeah, definitely not medical reasons. But we do have a special guest. We welcome Dani.
Hello.
Dani is my sister and also a worker in hospitality. And she'll bring a different flavor today, mostly in what we'd like to talk about today.
Well, I work in fine dining, if you like to call it that. So,
Yeah.
Very good.
bring that perspective, I guess.
Nice. We had Zach on the podcast, and I was managing a bistro.
So
or kinda
everyday dining.
Restaurant. But having someone who's managed a fine dining restaurant, we hope it'll be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
That's mean. I'm sorry, Zach.
No.
Zach, you were interesting, but it's just a different perspective of digging
Zach
myself a
is
hole.
our most.
You really are.
Zach's episode was our most
Yes,
viewed
yes,
episode.
it was.
So
Yes.
Zach's got some followers out there.
Just wasn't good with the word, Zach, we love you. No, we just want to bring another perspective of managing a restaurant and hospitality, and this one being fine dining. So, welcome, Dani.
Thank you.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I guess we'll talk about what happened this week in hospitality in general. In Adelaide, Gather Round happened, and it was, I think, a huge success. What do you reckon, Craig?
Gather Round is a very interesting event. I've been every year. I went more in the first couple of years than I did this year, but I went along this year, and there isn't a lot that's too different year on year, but there are some great venues around Gather Round. So all the pubs generally do some sort of deal or some sort of specials and whatnot, but I actually went to the area that is called the Home Ground, which is a series of cafes and restaurants along outside the convention centre and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Because we went there to have a beverage, drink responsibly.
Yes.
And it was very busy there, and they had TVs outside everywhere, so you could watch the footy, you could eat food, you could have a drink. And then I went further down in front of the convention centre. They had a winery, which I can't remember which name it was. Was it Alpha Box and Dice? Maybe Alpha Box and Dice. They had a little section down the end with some high bars and some wine and a little garden area. And that area was very quiet, but the prices of beers, now I'm going to let everyone in on a little secret, are amazing. So when I was everywhere else, I paid $15 a beer.
Which is expensive.
They gave me a glass beer in a pint for $8.
Oh, MIDI?
No, this is full strength beer for $8.
That's
Damn.
brilliant.
Cider for $8. This little
for
hidden
reference,
section.
if you're doing happy hour prices here in Adelaide, that'll be your happy hour
Yeah.
prices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was all day in this Alpha Box and Dice section, and they had the biggest range of wine, food, everything. So there's a little hidden secret for Gather Round
Amazing.
next year.
All right.
It's find this spot because they had TVs and space, and it was quiet with some music, and the beer is cheap. So we
Nice.
stayed there longer than we thought we were going to stay because it was cheap.
So we've actually been down to Alpha Box and Dice.
We have. I think we
Where
plugged
they're
that
located?
earlier. Yeah, we plugged that in our
Yeah.
camping episode, or the episode after maybe.
I think the episode after camping. Did you meet the lovely staff that greeted us down at
No.
The actual...
No,
venue.
the lovely young lady that we ran into that served us at Alpha Box and Dice did not follow down to this little section. But
Yeah.
she was an excellent host when we were there at Alpha Box and Dice that day.
Yes, she was. I think we'll plug Alpha Box and Dice because they were brilliant. So if you're ever in Adelaide, and where they're located?
They were down south, so they were in the McLaren Vale region.
Yeah, and if you're ever in McLaren Vale and want to go to a nice winery, something a little smaller, not like one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, it was.
Make your way down to Alpha Box and Dice. They got a good selection, interesting selection for you to try.
They did. So that was
cheap beers in their section and gather round.
Yeah, that was my
brilliant.
gather round sort of experience.
Okay. For those who don't know, we should have said this first. Sorry, but gather round is again linked to AFL, so footy, Australia's
Game. Yeah.
Australia's game.
Australia's game.
And Gather Round is what we call a festival of footy. So we host every single team down in Adelaide, and it gives a brilliant opportunity for all the fans of each team to come down to one area, celebrate footy, join in this festival, and also watch your teams go at it. And I think it was the biggest, of course, this year.
It was the biggest. It's always going to be the biggest, I
Correct.
think, every year.
Yeah.
But
we're unsure if we're getting it next year.
I think we will.
Yeah.
I think unofficially we will. They're just working out
They're
some
working out
finer
the
details,
logistics
but everyone
now.
wants it here. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
And because of that, everyone's quite happy to come to Adelaide.
Correct. So, yeah, that was a good success in terms of hospitality. Brought a lot to our city, our small city, but it was beautiful.
Off the back of Easter, it's been a big couple of weeks in
has.
Adelaide.
Yeah. And after this, I think we're going to the Cabaret Festival and Tasting Australia.
Tasting Australia is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I
so
can't
if
wait
you,
for that.
again, love
Wine.
food, love drink, catch Table 43 podcasts around the place.
We maybe should go
We should.
to talk about it.
We should, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to tasting so then we can talk about it. We'll
Done.
do a Tasting Australia episode.
Oh, right. We didn't really go to anything gather round related. We just watched the first game at a local pub, and brilliant. Again, it was like the game Crows v Carlton kind of started off the whole gather round, and Crows won. That's my team, so we were really happy. And
Not going to plug the pub?
no, not going to plug the pub.
Is this would you say bad hospitality experience at this
No,
venue?
because I work there, so I don't want everyone to find out where I work.
You went there to watch it. I didn't know you went there to watch it.
Yeah, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't plug that place.
No, because then I don't want all the streaming fans to come. No,
That's
again,
fair.
I'm talking so
We
much
need
crap.
some... I can't say this word. Anonymity. I'm actually happy
Yes.
with how I pronounce that.
Nice, yes. But yes, and then, as part of the weekend, along with Gather Round, I know for a fact that Craig and Dani actually work together. in
What?
A
Bombshell.
function. Do you guys want to maybe
effects.
talk a little bit more about that? Let's give the floor to Dani as your first time on a podcast.
Up and coming
Yes.
supervisor.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I worked one of it was a wedding.
Yes.
Unofficial
that we had.
wedding.
An unofficial
Unofficial
wedding.
Reception,
Are we diving
yes.
into that or no?
Yes, we can
We can
dive
dive
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll know more about.
Oh, no,
the
you can go
backstory
hard if
behind
you
it.
want.
Go.
Yeah, go hard.
Go hard. Tell them
well-
why it's an unofficial wedding ceremony
they-
reception.
Yeah, they said it wasn't a wedding.
Because
What was it? Oh yes, because of to save on cost.
very
Of
good.
course, so yes,
Yeah,
it wasn't a wedding to save on cost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, as soon as I walked into that room, it was
A wedding.
a wedding.
It was a wedding
Full-on wedding.
reception
They
for
had
sure.
the backdrop, the whole, everything
They had
was
lights
just
on the roof.
Own
Yeah.
lights,
Yeah, they had their own
lights
lighting.
across the
DJ,
whole ceiling.
dance floor, centerpieces.
It was an
the
experience.
whole seating chart, just even from the outside, like the
Yeah.
whole seating chart.
Yeah, it was a
Like
Welcome sign with a mirror.
Yeah.
more nicer than
Um,
most of our wedding receptions we have.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm guessing because there's what do you call, like a wedding tax,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because with the wedding tax comes perks, but people don't want to pay the wedding tax, so they'll say it's something, their function is something else rather than it being a wedding. And then events like these happen, basically.
Very good. So what was our wedding like? Was it a cultural experience?
Yeah, definitely a cultural experience for sure. Not your average wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ran a bit late for sure as well.
How late?
Was it?
How late?
This is a sore spot for me. I wasn't overly happy with how this night ran because they had a lot of filler stuff going on. And it started half an hour behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the night, it got pushed back so late to the point where I was getting really annoyed by the end. You could see it in my face that I was starting to get pissed off. But we reined it in and we got out reasonably and we did it all on time. But yeah, they made it hard in the middle part. Because this particular cultural experience, they sort of run on their own time schedule. People aren't always on time. People sort of come when they want. People draw out some things that don't need to be drawn out, and consequently it just runs always over time. But on the positive, the vibe was high.
It was.
It is like the happiest event you will ever attend. Everyone is so happy.
That's good in one way. I know from a logistics point of view, it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, logistical running these things is a bit of a nightmare because you're trying to please the people at the same time as keeping your chefs happy, keeping your staff happy, and wages, and there's so many different things that come into running one of these things. And as Dani learned, this was a one of the tougher ones, but it's good to learn one of the tougher ones than it is on the easy ones. You'll learn more. So, what did you learn, Dani?
I learnt a lot. Learned
That's
a
very
lot.
specific. Anything in particular, Dani?
But yeah, definitely learn that don't always follow it to like the timesheet. You're gonna have to think on the spot, work around, adapt to what's happening around you.
Good word.
Yeah. It was a good experience, a good learning experience.
What did you learn about people sneaking drinks?
Oh.
Yeah, that was fucked.
That was I didn't expect that for sure.
What did we find?
Yeah. We were like cleaning up after everyone had left the function, and
we were
taking off like the tablecloths, and then I've lifted up one of the tablecloths and there was nicely lined in a row. Oh, my ring is caught in my jacket. Nicely lined in a row. There were 3 bottles of coconut rum.
Yeah, some tequila.
Empty. Yeah.
I think it was 1800 tequila.
Oh, was it tequila?
I think it was tequila.
Are you talking about like the Don Julio?
Like it was the
1800?
Yeah,
is that tequila or is that rum?
1800 is the brand.
Yeah, the brand was 1800.
Okay.
It was coconut flavoured. I thought that was tequila, but maybe it is rum.
I thought it was rum, but yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there we go. We need to do some research on that.
Okay.
But there were 3.
There were 3 of them.
Under the table.
Completely empty.
How big were these bottles?
700 ml bottles.
Yeah.
So 2.1 litres.
Yeah.
Guess where that table was located? Directly opposite the bar. The closest table to where we were serving. And we did not pick up on it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
They would have been very discreet, I reckon.
They weren't even drunk.
That's
so I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they got it.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've had our fair share of people sneaking drinks into functions, and we don't allow it because responsible service. But some people are just too good, and you just can't pick them out.
They actually were too good, and because of sort of the culture and the of this group we had, they weren't drinkers. So all the drinks they bought from the start of the night to the end were lemon lime bitters, cokes.
Yeah.
So there was nothing out of the ordinary, whereas normally we'd pick up on that because that is out of the ordinary when grown adults are buying cokes all night.
You'd say like your radar, like
so the radar wasn't on at all.
Yeah, like they're not drinking much.
Yeah, so that was a learning experience for everyone.
So what did you learn about that? You have to be switched on all the time.
Genuinely, yeah.
Unfortunately.
It was that was great. And then like you start overthinking like interactions like I know that one person from that table came up and just asked for like a glass of ice. And I was like, oh, like, do you want me to top this up with water? And he's like, oh, no, water's at the table. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's a jug at the table. Sure. And I gave it. But then afterwards I was like, oh, maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
but again, that makes sense when they're not drinking.
Correct.
They just want cold water. Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
that's fair.
Yeah.
But yes, that's probably an interaction that we missed and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. But I didn't really notice a pattern or anything like that. So if there's no pattern, it's hard to say.
Exactly.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah.
But look, all part and parcel of working in hospitality and learning, and yeah, I think you would have got a good exposure to that.
yes, for
On the
sure.
weekend.
For sure.
But before you worked in functions,
Yes.
you were in the fine dining scene.
Yes, I was.
Do you want to give a brief introduction into like your role in the fine dining scene, and
Yeah.
what would that entail basically?
So I did managing at a fine dining place, and that was basically started off more as a supervisor, so I just help out the manager, just look on the floor, keep people in check as well, and then sometimes just help with the end of the night stuff, so just like counting tills as well. But then it started to get a bit more serious, a bit more responsibility, and I just started managing alone, which was an experience in itself, good learning experience.
Yeah.
So I did that for about a year and a half to say, which was
I did not realise you did that for a year and a half.
That's a long time.
yeah. So I've
Very long
only
time.
been in hospo for, I think now I'm coming up on like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I started doing supervisor roles quite early on,
Yeah.
and
A prodigy, some would say,
Yeah.
in the hospitality industry.
Exactly. You picked it up quick, which is
Yes.
good. But as a younger manager,
yes.
how was that experience, and how was it managing your staff who, when you start, they become your friends, but then you turn into the manager. So there's kind of like a
Yes.
line. So how was it managing, first of all, in a fine dining restaurant, managing staff, and then we'll also talk about managing customers.
Yeah.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Well, yeah, of course. And you starting off, and it was my first hospitality job as well. So, making friends and just learning how that works I got comfortable. But then, of course, once you become supervisor, you got to find the line between, like, this is like my friend, but at the same time, you're now in charge of them, and you have to keep stuff running as well.
Yeah.
Which was, it was hard to find that balance
Yeah.
for sure. I found it hard to tell people what to do as well. Like I felt like at the start it was quite easy just to kind of walk over me because I didn't want to ruin those
Your
relationships, and like friendships
yeah.
per se. But then as you get more into it, like they understand that you're in a role where you have to do it, and then you just have to sometimes just be tough and do what you need to do just to, at the end of the night, keep the place running and have a good service and everyone be happy at the end of the day. Somewhat, at least.
Somewhat, yeah.
How tough would you say you were?
Yes.
How tough did you have to get with people?
On a scale of like, I'm the manager, but also your best friend, to running to dictatorship.
Yeah, go home right
Yeah.
now. I've had enough of you, which I've done before.
Yeah.
I've had that situation like only a couple times. Sometimes with some particular people.
Like on the law.
But yes, I've had to do that. Sometimes it's just after a tough shift where you've had enough of everything that's going on. Like sometimes customers get to you, and then there are some staff that just they might be having a bad day as well. You don't know, but then it's just doesn't work, and you just have to either send them home or like you just tell them that they have to either move on to a different area and just be on their own for a bit, just to get stuff going and then just get the restaurant closed, like
because you're running a ship at the end of the day, and it depends on how tight you want to run the ship, but the ship needs to run regardless, and if the crew members are not working together or not listening to you, not listening to the captain, the ship's not going to run. You're going to sink.
Ship is not going to run.
No.
The sails are not going to get up. I don't know anything else about ships.
Yeah.
But things that make ships run are not going to make ships run.
They float.
They will not float.
They float.
Will not move in a direction.
Yeah.
And whatever else you need, the cannons won't get loaded.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of ships we're talking.
I don't know, but as you, Craig, you've also been a captain of a few ships. Like, what
I've
is
ran some ships in my time, yes.
So we have management style where it's like you want to be friends, but also there's a line that like you have to cross and be like, I'll keep this line basically, and just be like, okay, you have to do work. For you, Craig, what would you say your management style would be?
I had this discussion with Dani on the weekend. We just talked about how certain people need to be managed individually.
Yeah.
You need to sort of take in everyone's personality, age, experience, work ethic, all of those things in, and in particular in the function area, how sort of the night is running. Some nights are busier than others.
Yes.
But my style is firm but fair.
Okay.
I will tell people when they need to do things, and I'm not afraid to tell them when they need to do things.
Yep.
But when there is a time to relax, then I will grant people that time to relax as well. But if you don't toe the line, then I'll just send you home.
Yeah.
Flat out. If you're not
Yeah.
if you're not an asset at that point, it's time to go. So it's all about managing people, and I think that is the most important part, is knowing who you're managing and how they work and what makes them work the best.
Yeah.
So some people just work hard the whole way through and they love working. Other people work in bursts. Other people work with their friends well.
Yeah.
Other people work certain areas well. So it's about just learning how to manage those people.
Correct. And being a manager, you got to pick. Like, you know who's going to work well. You know who will probably need that extra.
Yeah, and who responds to what. Some people respond to harsh feedback not well.
Yeah.
Some people need
love.
a gentle hand and some need tough love.
Yeah.
So that's all part of the process.
Correct. And this will be the similar experience for you.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
And definitely.
But my next question would be, and Craig, I'd love for you to chime in on this as well. How do you manage people who don't do work at all?
I send them home.
Just straight up.
The harsh reality is...
Because everyone's had that one person who...
You can't always do that.
Yeah, like who does not do any work and they're just there and you're just like, okay, I need something from you.
All right, Dani, take it away.
Yeah. How do you manage those people?
It's hard, for sure. Especially like there were times when you're understaffed as it is. So although I would love to send them home, it's something I can't really do.
Very
because
true.
anything they can contribute is better than nothing at that point.
Well said.
But with that, it's hard, but sometimes it just comes to a point where you have to send them home. Yeah. Or you just have to, you become the micromanager and you're constantly on them and they'll get pissed at you and they'll get annoyed and you can see it, but you just have to do it. Yeah. Because at the end of that, you just got to get a good service. Just do what you have to do.
Yeah. I think that's a good way. Micromanaging is a good definition of how to manage some of these harder people. Yeah. I find that my strategy is find the simplest tasks for them to do and send them to do the simplest tasks. So if it's literally you go polish glasses for the next hour and I'll go out and do the more heavy lifting, but at least you're doing something to help us get to our end goal. Yeah. And I'm happy to toe the line over here if that's what gets us done in the end. Yeah. Like, yes, you end up pulling more weight, but as a manager, sometimes you just got to pull more weight. You got to do it. Yeah. So that's generally my strategy, is find a task that they can do that doesn't require them to burn out or go above and beyond or whatever. Because sometimes, as Dani said, people are having bad days, and sometimes they just need to find the simplest task to do. Yeah. So that's a good strategy that I have found. That may work for some people, but I found that works for me.
Yeah. So we talked about managing staff in a fine dining restaurant. Yeah. Now, managing customers. The reason I say managing customers is because, well, working in hospitality, you kind of know in fine dining, you get a different caliber of guests coming to the fine dining restaurant. So I'd like to hear your experience about, firstly, the type of guests that you get and how it is to literally serve these people and how are they as people itself and how do they kind of treat you and other staff members? So with fine dining itself, of course, people coming in are willing to spend more, which is good for business. Yeah.
not so good for workers at times with
Yeah.
the type of people that come with that.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're definitely a bit more demanding. They want that more one-on-one service,
Yeah.
which we try our best to get for them, but there are times when they demand more than we can offer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes with its moments. You
Yeah.
sometimes just have to go to the back, take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Had a few workers who, that just had enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to just go home, just have like a breather for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And then as a manager, you have to step in and look after those people and deal with the customer as best as you can. You want them happy, but at the same time, you also want to be respectful of your staff and
Yeah.
be supportive of them. So finding that line is hard in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely get I don't know how to describe them in a nice-ish way, but
Yeah.
I was going to say you're more like...
Snobby.
Can I say just
Say it,
snobby?
that's
Yeah.
fine.
You're snobby
fine.
people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're snobby people. That's most of what you get.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not everyone is snobby, of course.
not everyone. You do get angels of
Yeah.
people that come in and they like completely understand
Mhm.
if something's not going right. They don't blame you because they know it's not your fault,
Yeah.
which is amazing to have, and can change like your mood in a shift, definitely. But sadly, more the people you get are the snobby people.
And because in fine dining, the prices are a little higher,
Yeah.
do you reckon a lot of more guests demand a different type of service because they're paying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Because the prices can sometimes be a bit
Yeah.
insane, but they're willing to spend it. But with that, of course,
Exactly.
they want that
Yeah.
premium service of anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Premium. Okay. So I've heard some stories about like how you go about working in like a restaurant of this style, and then like how you like approach these tables. But could you just give like a brief like summary of like how you go about it? You'll approach the table. Everything I'm guessing is table service.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll go and you talk to them. What do you normally ask these people in terms of like of course dietaries and stuff like that? And are they willing to respond? Do they listen to you? Do they want to do their own thing?
Yeah,
Do they
okay.
give you any respect? Like, what is that like?
You get a variety
Yeah.
in that sense. With the place I worked, it was advertised as more. It's an experience more than anything.
Okay.
So of course we had section waiters, so they would have a certain amount of tables that they had in their section, obviously, and they would look after them one-on-one, give that personal touch. When they're sat, like we give a bit of a talk about the restaurant itself, but every dish that was served, a little bit of history, and then about the cuisine as well. So there was like it's a bit of a show as well. But you do get that, and they do feel very comfortable in that sense there. With that, customers, sometimes they just don't listen. They come in and they just want to have dinner, which we understand. But at the same time, if you come into a restaurant that's advertised as something like this, where it's an experience, it's a show, you're going to have constant interaction, I think you should at least be open to just at least listening to that in aspect. But there are some that just kind of shoo you away. They don't want to hear it. You then adjust to that if you can. Like if you know that, you just let everyone know they're not here for that. They just want to have dinner. We can just let them have their dinner. That's fine. And there are the customers that just eat up the show. They love it. They'll get their phones out. They'll be filming you a bit too close sometimes, but you work past it. I've had the zoom in where the phone comes directly into my face while I'm talking.
We love that.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
And then you get your customers are just like the perfect balance of they'll have their time, they eat, but when it comes to explaining, they're open to it, they'll listen to you, they'll be very respectful. So it's just finding, that's where you just get the gauge of the customer when they come in. And then from there you just go with the flow.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you get a lot of influencers coming in and taking photos of the food and taking lots of photos in front of the restaurant and around the restaurant? Because I believe I've seen a bit of this going on down in that end of the bar where people like to get photographs that they are eating in your restaurant. And they like to make a big deal of themselves. I guess that's just
That's a great question.
like your influencers, there have to be some that are coming down there for a bit of clickbait.
we definitely get a lot of influences. So much so that it becomes a part of our service where we ask before we we have interactive dishes per se where we will like mix the food or something like that, and we would ask them if they want a photo beforehand, and then that's when every camera comes out, the flashes go crazy. So that happens there. They'll come in, they'll give them the table, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. And then you're looking around and you just see flashes going off in random corners of the restaurant, and then you're just like, oh, okay, and then like they're outside and the food's at the table, and you have to go out and politely be like, your food's at the table, we just don't want it to get cold, and then they proceed to still be out there for like 20 minutes
because they're doing their job.
They're doing doing what they have to do, but at the same time we also have a job to fulfill, and we want to do it to the best of our ability. So yeah, definitely get your influencers.
Influencer culture.
Definitely get the influencers that come in and then say that, oh, like I'll post this for you. Is it possible to get a discount?
Oh,
those are the
good one. Leverage.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are the ones where.
And what's your response to that?
So our response
10%.
is we
10% straight away.
10% influencer discount straight away.
Yeah.
Look, for me personally, we actually do offer. It's kind of a. I don't know what it's really called, but it is an influencer kind of deal that you can organize beforehand with the owner of the restaurant, of course. But that just has to be organized before you come into the restaurant. So it's already like taken care of. We're aware of the situation. Everyone knows that you're coming in, and we know how it's gonna go at the end of the night.
Wow, I did not know that.
So yeah, but if you come and you come in and ask on the day, I say no. Yeah. Because that's not what you're here for. Like if you're here in a restaurant, you're dining just for a restaurant experience. If you're choosing to take photos and post them and for your social media, that's absolutely fine. But that's not going to impact my
What if Margot Robbie comes in? She says, I'm Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I'm going to post this to my 15 million followers.
Yeah. Margot Robbie, please come on the podcast. But yes.
Oh, look. Oh, if it's Margot Robbie, I'll make an exception.
There we go, people. We've heard it.
There we go.
Australia's golden girl.
Yeah.
But if influencers come in and sometimes we recognize them ourselves, and we have fans from the workers as a fan, we will happily send out.
There's some discretion,
of course.
Yeah, we'll happily send out maybe a drink or just something just to welcome them in.
Yep.
But when it comes to whatever they order and what they want, then that is on.
Yeah, that's
them.
fair.
And that's I think is quite fair.
Because at the end of the day, you're running a business.
Exactly.
Right. And if someone rocks up and says, I'm an influencer, and you don't recognize them, you don't have enough time to do any background research if they're telling the truth or not.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
But if they come beforehand and organize something with you, then it becomes a bit of like, you help each other out.
Yeah, I'm mutual benefit.
I'm going to promote this restaurant through you, and for that, we're going to give this to you for free, or we're going to give you a discount because you're also promoting to us.
Yes.
There'd be a bit about that.
That's an interesting topic. We haven't had that before.
Yeah. But influencers in hospitality, I think in this day and age, is becoming a bigger thing.
I think it is, especially around food.
Correct. I mean, we spoke about Schooner Scorer, the guy who goes around now the world, and he's like testing different types of beers and giving them a score, and he's doing very well off that. And it's just him going around and just drinking beer.
Table 43 pod, another influencer.
Yeah, another big influencer in
Adelaide,
the Australian hospitality, and a bit international as well.
Look, we've dabbled internationally.
Correct. Yeah. So look,
we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting a tick off Instagram or YouTube or whatever you need.
We're definitely getting there, but it's.
You got a sore neck? You right?
I've got a bit of a sore neck.
Okay,
so
I'll just shake it out.
I was just moving it. Yeah.
Shake it out. Very good.
But no, the influencer market, I think you call it, in hospitality is growing. So of course, if you have, I'm guessing in fine dining, food that's very presentable and a beautiful like atmosphere in your restaurant. Yes. Ambiance. What they say?
Ambiance. It's a very picturesque restaurant, is what I'd say. Yeah. And the aesthetic is quite a nice one. So that's I think what draws them to the restaurant, which is nice to have that exposure. Yeah. But yeah, at the same time.
Nice. We've touched about this. I think we touched about this before. But working in fine dining, like any other restaurant or like any place that deal with food, dietaries is a big thing. How is it talking to a more snobbish crowd, you would say, like the snobby people, about like dietaries, and do they listen to it? Is that something that happens, or is it like everywhere else where you say like, is there any dietaries, and they don't listen, and then things go wary? We spoke about this with Zach before, but just in a fine dining experience.
You get a mix of it.
Yeah.
For sure, they've come in, they're meeting a group of people, they're just chatting.
Yeah.
You just continue to chat. You come in, you try to introduce yourself, and they just talk over you.
Yeah.
And it comes to a point where you either yell to get their attention, or you just have to walk away from that and then deal with the consequences later.
Okay.
So it definitely had a... of course, I started off as a section waiter there before I got into the management position. So dealing with that was it's hard.
Any
to do
stories
that.
you could share?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I had one table.
Yeah.
They were a bit of like an older crowd, dressed to the nines, definitely, with their pearls and everything. They came in, we have a host desk, walked straight past the desk. So I had to go and be like, sorry, excuse me, we're just seat from here. They reluctantly come back, of course. And then you get their name, take them to the table, you seat them. They're waiting for other people to join. And the other people join, again, they just walk past the desk, but you can see where they're going. So you just let it go at that point. So you go to the table, they're talking. I go over and be like, sorry to interrupt you. Just want to introduce myself. Get ignored the first time. Try it again, get ignored the second time. Like, all right, it's not working. Let me go back. Try again and just give them a bit of time. Yeah. Went back, it was maybe in about 10 minutes. It was the same thing again. So I just had to kind of yell, just be like, sorry to interrupt you. I'll let you keep talking in a moment. I just want to introduce myself. And you just keep going without them. Then they'll eventually look at you and just stare at you.
Okay,
and
so they don't listen, but then you just like literally have to
you just talk at them.
Yeah.
And eventually they will stare at you because they're either annoyed that you're interrupting their conversation, or they're just like, let's just get this out the way.
Yeah.
I had this table, they did that, introduced myself, and I was like, we offer set menus at this restaurant, so then on their bookings you can see when they're doing it. So I just confirmed that they were doing it, and they were like, yep. And then I said, are there any dietaries or any requirements in terms of food? And they just went silent, completely silent, and just stared at me. Yeah. And I was like, so are there any dietary requirements or restrictions of food? And then one of the guests was like, did you see it on our booking? Okay. And I went, no, there's nothing on the booking, but there are times that customers forget to note it on the booking or don't realize. So I'm just double checking. If it's not on our booking, we don't have any dietaries. Okay. Okay. That's no problem at all. I'm also just
blunt,
completely. I'm just like, that's when you just have to fake the smile. Because inside you're bubbling, but you just have to fake the smile, keep going. And then I said, okay, well, with our cuisine, we do a lot of spice. Is everyone spice tolerance okay? Yep, we're fine. It's all good. Just get the fruit out. All right.
What a bitch.
Yeah. All right.
I'll say it.
What do you say to their face?
I'll say to your face that you're a bitch. That's why I don't work in fine dining.
Yeah.
So my thing was just, okay, it says just before I go, just to confirm, there's no dietaries. Everyone is fine with spice. And at that point, they're ignoring me and they're back to the conversation. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm just going to go do it. That's done. First round of food comes out. Yeah. The food goes there, drop it at the table, just be like, enjoy your meal, and then walk away. And then I hear someone yell after me, excuse me. Yeah. And then I'm like, nope, I'm not ready for this, but you just got to take a breath and you turn around. Yeah. And I was like, yep, how can I help you? There's chili in this. Yeah. I'm like, yes, there is chili in this. It is listed on the menu. This is how the dish is made. This is what the dish is. This is a chili, blah, blah, blah. It is listed as a chili, like in its title. It's like, I don't eat chili. Okay. So I'm like, sorry.
Oh.
So when I came before, I did try to confirm this with you, and you specifically stated that there's nothing on the table. Yeah. I didn't hear what you said. Right. Okay. So I'm going to just confirm once again. So you don't eat any chili. Yeah. Oh, I don't have any chili, and I don't eat garlic, or I don't eat onion. It's like, okay, so you can't eat these dishes in front of you. Yeah. It's like, well, you should have told me it was in it. Oh, it's just like you just got to take a breath. Yeah. And just try to remain calm in that situation.
Try is the key
word. You try your
is
best.
Such a key word in this.
It's just I had to go. I took the food away. Had to get the menu again, go through it. And at this point, they were actually listening because they realized that, okay, which is what you should do in the first place, just to be
Correct,
clear. It's something
yeah.
you should do when someone asks you a question. You just answer it and you
Yeah.
listen and you think about the question.
Yeah.
You don't just try to get on with your food or just enjoy your night, because stuff will happen, but then it's not the restaurant's fault at that point. But it became the restaurant's fault,
Obviously,
because they then asked for
yeah.
a manager,
Yeah.
and then they told the manager that she didn't say this and this and this. Luckily, my manager saw the entire
Interaction.
yeah, the
Yeah.
interaction, and she's like, well, actually, no, she did say this and this and this, and you brushed her off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
so
they-
fuck off now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they
100%. I'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, you
Yeah.
can leave now.
the manager at the time was actually very much that
100%.
like
Yeah.
personality, which I appreciated.
And by the way, great management. You back up your stuff.
Exactly.
Of course. Yeah.
But yes, I appreciated that.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, they weren't very happy, but they got their food in the end. There was no discount given to them, nothing like that. They asked
As it
for one.
shouldn't,
They
yeah.
asked for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
But manager basically just said, you put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it. And yeah.
Far
So
out.
definitely got a lot of those
Okay.
kind of interactions.
Yeah.
There's
but
no way I
then-
could do that.
Yeah.
I
would
couldn't.
feel
I'd be like,
bad.
Bistro's that way. You're happy to. You're well welcome
Yeah.
to eat down there.
Yeah.
We're not serving you anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I don't
it's,
have time for that. Like, no, we don't have time for that.
it is like, and look, I've
Understand.
never worked fine dining.
They're paying customers.
Hello? Hello, yes, hi.
Hi.
No, that's okay. What's going on? That's all right. You're leaving? Yeah? Okay,
Bye.
bye. See ya.
Hi.
Sorry, everyone, that was my mum. Okay, yes. I've never worked in fine dining before. Briefly helped, but never like properly worked like Dani, like in fine dining. I don't know if you've had any experience in that.
Some
Yeah.
limited experience. It wasn't for me because
Of reasons
of
like
the
this.
nature
Yeah.
of the guests in
Yeah.
that, and we have difficult guests in functions and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Which is plenty to deal with anyway.
it is, and
Yeah.
I know what is required, like Dani does in fine dining, to get through those experiences.
Correct.
But the fine dining experience was too much for me because
Yeah.
I don't like how they treat people,
Yeah.
and that annoys me. And consequently, I can't work for people who treat people continuously like that.
Again, it's just like because they pay so much, they expect this level of service and what do you say? Their entitlement.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
dickhead tax.
Correct.
That's what we call that.
Yeah.
You're paying more because you're a dickhead.
Correct.
And
that
that's the
they're
tax
very
for being a
entitled
dickhead.
about it, and then hence they say stuff like this, and they want to
Yeah.
discount when they're the ones who don't listen.
Wild.
Yes, but
Yeah.
like we said before, not everyone is like that,
Yes.
right? And I'm assuming there are some very lovely people, and because you work in fine dining where more money is being spent, thrown around in some situations, I heard that the
Ooh, rumour
tipping
file.
culture in the fine dining scene
Tipping.
is firstly it's there.
It is.
In like a more casual setting, you don't really get tipped that much.
No.
But in fine dining, can you speak a bit about the tipping culture in that sense?
Yeah, of course. They're quite generous in their
Yeah.
tips, especially the nicer customers.
Yeah.
They really do appreciate that one-on-one,
Mhm.
in, like looking after them and taking care of all their needs. Like especially when there is a table that has a lot of dietaries and a lot
Yeah.
that needs to be done for them, they do really appreciate that, and they show that
Yeah.
in their tips. So I think the most I've gotten tipped on a night from a table, I think I got a $200 tip.
Wow.
As
So
a-
individually, you must do really well from an individual sense of the tips you get.
I would dream about
Individually.
getting $200 on a night.
Individually, I would love to take that money personally
Yes. Do you get to
as your
keep?
tip. So that would be awesome. You got $200 in your pocket.
Yeah.
that
Do
must
you
be
get to keep the $200? That would be
Amazing.
amazing if you get
Yeah,
to keep
well
the
done to you.
$200. Because
What do you spend it on?
Yeah.
Your
So
$200.
that $200 went straight to the manager.
Oh.
Come again. Come again.
What's
And
this?
that
Your
goes
tip
into
went where?
Oh,
To your manager, the
interesting.
one
To
that
the
you
manager.
earned. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
and
weird.
that
Yeah.
goes into a pot,
Mm-hmm.
and then that is split at the end of every month with every worker.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so
Whoa.
what you're telling us is firstly shocked.
I am shocked
Crazy.
by that you do not individually get the tip that you earned for your
Absolutely
section.
crazy. Yeah.
That's
But
wild.
What I'm gathering for this is you have looked after this table.
Mm-hmm.
You have then made them feel so welcome, so comfortable in your restaurant
Mm-hmm.
that they think that you deserve this extra
$200.
money,
Mhm.
$200, because you were so special to them.
Excellent.
And you don't get to keep it. You have to split it with
With
everyone.
Craig and Orton, get some of this $200.
Literally, if you were there.
And we did nothing.
And are you splitting it with everyone? Everyone?
Everyone.
Everyone. Okay.
Everyone gets.
And now
It's a
we were
portion.
speaking about like how like managing people, some people just don't do the work.
Yeah.
So are you telling me some of this money goes to the people who don't do any work?
Yes.
Craig, what's
Wow,
going on?
I am
What's
just
going on?
out of words.
Yeah.
I would have thought that in this culture, like in overseas and America, we've heard a bit about from Bailey when he was on.
Correct,
That
yes.
you
Watch the
serve
episode if you haven't.
those people, and then the tip comes to you, and that's how it works because you put in the hard work and service. So to hear
Yeah.
that everyone who does not do an equal share of the work gets an equal share of the tips
Yeah,
is kind of mind blowing.
that is crazy.
It is.
What
it
are your
is.
thoughts on that?
No, it is quite a crazy concept. When I first started working there, it was you keep what you get.
Okay.
So I was making a good
Oh, so
amount.
this is a new management decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intriguing.
So yeah, when I first started there, like it was a keep what you get, and I was like making a good amount.
Yep.
Like, and it was a really nice perk, and it was
Yep.
a good way to show that you're being appreciated and you're doing a good job, and
Yep.
it was a really good motivation in a way as well for
Absolutely.
workers. Everyone was working their hardest to earn that. But yes, then there was a staff meeting, and there the owner of the restaurant did not like it that was happening.
Does the owner of the restaurant get a portion of the tips that come through?
So to my knowledge,
Oh, here we go. This is your big controversial moment.
to my knowledge,
To your knowledge.
Yeah.
yes, because
So
yes.
he was getting no tips previously, and then he saw everyone else getting tips because he was back of house potentially. So then he wanted a share of the tips and decided that it was company policy now to distribute the tips evenly.
Basically, it was.
That's very, very spot on.
That
okay?
is spicy if I have ever heard. I did not know that was the reason behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Before
so-
I wasn't shocked, but now I am actually shocked.
He
Yeah.
kind of put it out as a vote
Okay.
to be like, okay, so this is how it should work. Is everyone agree with this?
Yeah.
And of course, I was new, so I just said, "Yep, that's fine." I didn't know like at the
Yeah.
time, and everyone else just kind of because that is the owner. You just kind of some people just went, "Yep," and then that was the majority, and it just went on from there.
Yeah.
So yes, it happened. So all of the chefs as well as the front of house workers would all split the amount evenly.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so looking at that, I'm guessing the argument would be everyone contributes to the service, hence that's why everyone should get a cut.
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
I do not agree with that at
Okay.
all. Yes, everyone does contribute to service. Like you can't just have one person like as a section waiter. If it's just you talking, yes, you can like have a good time, have a good talk with them, but at the same time, they need the food, they need the drinks,
Yeah.
they need like the table, the cleaning, and the new like all of that contributes to them having an amazing evening.
Yeah.
So yes, everyone plays a part in it. Some roles are bigger than others, in my personal opinion,
Of
and
course,
you
yeah.
should be paid like according to that.
Okay.
So as a section waiter, you take care of majority of
Yeah.
their needs, like all their dietaries. The reason they enjoy the food and can eat the food is because of the section waiter. The reason they can have this drink.
You're promoting it.
Yeah, you
basically.
promote everything. It's all it comes back to the section waiter,
Yeah.
of course. So personally, I think that if a section waiter earns a tip, unless a table says this is for everyone, they should be allowed to keep that because they have worked hard enough for it.
Yeah.
But yes, and then if they don't work hard enough for it, if they do the bare minimum, then they
Yeah.
won't get the tip, and then that's just how it goes.
Okay.
And I personally think that's a fair way to run things.
I reckon that's fair.
I don't.
No, fair as in like, do you reckon they should just get all the money? If
100%.
if you've been given the $200, you get to keep the $200.
I would think that the chefs probably earn a higher wage than the front of house staff. And this is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
That now they earn a higher again wage.
Yeah.
Because they are now partaking in the tips.
Yeah.
I think that you're already getting a decent wage. So I don't think that's fair. Because
Yeah.
usually it's juniors and casual staff working in front of house that probably
Yeah.
don't earn as much.
Yeah.
So I think the benefit needs to go to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my opinion on it. And
What
I
if
think
a guest-
that's horrible.
What
to be
it,
honest.
like in that sense, like even from a guest point of view, it'll be like, no, I want to give you the $200.
Yeah.
Like, don't give this to anyone else. You are the one that made me happy. I want to give you the $200. But I'm guessing even in that situation,
In that case, it's just it's policy, unfortunately. So
Rough
if you
policy.
are gonna tip me, it'll be split. And there have been cases where a customer wants to tip you and you say that and they just take the tip back. They don't even bother giving it.
Fair enough.
And at that point, you're like, I understand.
Yeah.
And you just,
No,
Okay.
that's fair
In my limited tipping experience as a supervisor of functions, there
Yes.
have been tips come across my desk before.
Yeah.
And I always distribute all my tips evenly to all the staff.
Yeah.
Without fail.
Yeah.
And even if I'm in the bar, I will split my tips with whoever is working in the bar with me at the time, because that's just
Yep.
how I personally feel.
Yeah.
That everyone is working equally and contributes to it. But yeah, that's just my personal take. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that is a bit of a contradiction to everyone getting a thing. But again, there's only the people that are working that part. It doesn't go to the chefs, the tip we get in the function. It
No.
goes to the staff that are working
Yeah. And
there
again, it's up
at
to your
the
management
time.
style.
And it's up to your management style and whatever way you do it. But I think with your specific case of offering personalised service, that does encourage a tip that's personalised to you.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's unlike, well, Bailey told us in the last episode, check that out because that was a cool one as well. He was saying that in America, the tipping culture is a little bit different as well, because the workers, they live for their tips.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then they literally are giving you that service because they want the money. In Australia and in Adelaide, we don't work like that.
yeah.
We just give you a good experience because we're good at the job.
Because they're nice people.
Yeah.
And nice people.
And nice people.
Some people who are not good at the job will never get the tip.
Yes.
And some people who don't do the work will never get the tip. But if you're good at your job and you're being nice, you will get the tip because people have enjoyed it and
Yeah.
they thank you for it. So yeah, we don't. It's again, you don't need the tip, but it's nice
Yeah.
to be recognized.
It's not it's not expected in any way.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah,
Like
and
we
not
don't
expected.
you do it for that, but
No.
it's always nice to get one.
Yeah. So it's never good when you see someone who's not worked that hard that
Yeah.
night for you getting your share of the tip. I can see how frustrating that is. I would
Yeah,
be
it's
frustrated.
heartbreaking.
Craig will flip.
Oh, obviously, I'd flip a table
Yeah.
for that. Like, I wouldn't be happy if there was $200 tip come to me for my service that I've slaved over, and I get $10 out of that because we
Yeah.
distribute it to everyone who did nothing
Correct.
and took the
Yeah.
night off. Even like if it's
Yeah.
distributed to everyone who worked that night, all the tips from that night. Okay,
Yes.
that makes more sense to me
Yeah.
because some people work 1 day a week, some people work 6 days a week.
Yes.
And you're still getting
Yes.
equal slice of the
makes
pie.
sense, yeah.
Like it is by far the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
yeah.
And I cannot get around that. And if I was in that staff meeting, I'd be like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because it is. Like, I'm sorry.
We'll flip more tables.
I would
Yeah.
flip a table in that staff meeting. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
On this tipping, I wanted to touch on two things quickly. The first thing, when we talk about staff not deserving the tips but still getting a piece of the pie, are there staff who don't do work but when they know tips are in play, they will go and like suck up
Oh,
to
yes.
customers,
Yes.
and they know like, oh, this is like say it's like a rich customer, or like this person will tip. Are there people who will go out of their way, will not do the work that's required, but will do this extra work because they know they may get money from the person?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. They're
What do you experience when you've seen that firsthand?
Name them.
It's-
If you've seen them firsthand.
Name drop.
First and last names, please. Perfect.
Oh my
We
God.
don't want anyone to.
We do in this case. We usually refrain from
Yeah.
this, but right now is the time where we're unleashing.
But look,
Look,
yeah,
there have been those cases, and
yeah,
I have personally gotten angry
Yeah.
at people for doing it and made it known that I am
Mhm.
upset and yelled.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's like I've been taking care of a table, and then this person knows that they tip well, so we'll come up and just make themselves known.
okay,
After all the work's done, so I would have done their order or gotten them their drinks, and they'll come
Yeah.
just to be like, "How is everything? How's this? Oh, you like, oh, it's so nice to see you. This,
Yeah.
and they'll go away when the work comes. Like clearing the table, they know where to be found. Can't
Yeah.
find them at all, and then they'll just come and insert themselves in those moments,
I
make the
see.
table laugh, walk away.
Okay,
And then that is frustrating for two accounts. First of all, it's not their table.
Yeah.
So why are you there?
stay away.
You're not meant to be here. And the second thing is when they do go and do those things, it takes away the actual section waiter's chance to have that talk and that time with the table.
Yeah.
So you then just become the server
Hmm.
who brings them their food, clears their table, because you are missing out on those chances. And of course, you don't want to, oh my God, you don't want to like bombard the table. So after someone's talked to them, you don't want to also go and then
Yeah.
just take away their time to just enjoy their dining experience. So you have to hold back.
Okay.
But that's when it gets more frustrating, because then you're losing out on your chances to talk to them and form that bond and relationship with them,
Yeah.
because this person has come and taking the chances. So it has happened, and I have gotten angry
Yeah.
at co-workers for doing it and
Yeah.
told them that. But yeah, it happens. And then, yeah, when the table's leaving, they'll come out to say bye and shake the hand and be like, we'll see you next time.
Try and get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting because
Yeah.
I look at it adversely.
Okay.
My point of view would be that if you want to suck up to get a bigger tip that contributes, now I know, to me personally,
Yeah.
then you can go kiss ass all you want on
Yeah.
the not regular. If you're the worst person in real life, but you're going to kiss ass and my 2% tip gets increased because you kiss ass, go for it.
Okay.
Kiss ass, I encourage it, to be
Yeah.
honest. If it's they're cutting your lunch of your individual tip, then I'm getting frustrated and annoyed. But
Okay,
being as
I
it's
see
a,
that.
a group slice of the pie,
Yeah.
you can
It does
schmooze all
make
you
sense.
want.
It does make sense now because it's a group
Yeah.
thing. But I'd see the
Schmooze.
second frustrating thing you were saying is that they're not doing the work.
Yeah.
The work that they were meant to do, they are not.
The stuff they should be doing to
Yeah.
earn that tip. And then the other thing is that these customers are not aware that it's being split. So we don't advertise
there you
that it's
go.
being split. So if they do come and then the customer decides like, oh, that person's been really nice to me, maybe I'll give them a little money.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if that's actually like they've gotten the money and they're gone.
Okay.
And that's it. And I have got nothing from
Yeah.
that. And they're like, oh, like she helped, but she wasn't really there. She didn't really talk. So yeah, we
Yeah.
won't give a tip. So it does impact at the
Yeah.
end of the day, even if it is split. But yeah, the customer's not aware of that. So then they might just not tip because, oh, it didn't feel like it was, like she didn't do enough
Genuine.
for us.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Intriguing.
Before I go to the second thing I want to touch on, another sub thing. You were saying before the tips used to get split, everyone used to keep their own tips. Has there ever been a case where you've suspected
Oh.
or seen,
Thievery.
yes, someone who does not deserve the tip come and just happen to be there when, say, a customer wants to pay up? Or take a tip which was rightfully yours, rightfully someone else. Have you ever seen
It
that?
has happened to me. It has
Please
happened
share
to
the
me.
story.
Please name them.
Name and shame.
Convince these people need to be named.
Yes.
So
but
yeah.
hello everyone. We have to end the episode there today, but do not worry. We're going to have Daniela back for the next one, and she'll continue a story about who stole the tips at the fine dining restaurant. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you to everyone for listening to today's podcast, and we look forward to seeing you on the table next time. See you guys.